So Syscomm have been very, very busy with ransomware recovery over the last few years. I think since everybody moved out of their offices for COVID in 2020, then and turned their remote access capability inside out. In doing so, a lot of gaps were opened for hackers to exploit and connect into those networks, and helped over 200 organizations now to recover from ransomware. See the same patterns of mistakes being made across how businesses are building networks, and the chinks in the armor that are left exposed that threat actors are able to exploit over time. In all of the cases that we have remediated, the customer has always got a firewall, they have always got antivirus, they've always got switching in their network, and they've always got backups across their network. But unfortunately, despite having the right parts of the puzzle, those components don't combine to provide defense in depth. So threat actors are able to circumvent the technology that's in place, and it comes down to misconfiguration, and not so much that organizations don't have the right sort of technology. I think it's debatable about which is the right vendor for some of these, but the right parts of the jigsaw are always in place at all ransomware victims, but it's how they're configured and how they work together to provide defense in depth and to resist the lateral movement of a threat actor through the network. And gaps are always left. So there is a degree of hacking, of course, to get into networks, but actually once the initial hack has occurred, the networks are often structured as a house of cards, and it's not terribly difficult to bring those down with the way networks are often built. Usually we find that the company will have a disaster recovery plan, but that disaster recovery plan has fallen apart within the first half an hour, because often the backups are taken out as a part of that attack as well. So actually recovery becomes very difficult from that point forward, and it is not uncommon for organizations to have to look at historic backups and to piece data together from data that they have across disparate systems and legacy systems to try and reconstitute their business or organization. Syscomm, when we're involved in ransomware remediation, we would always recommend and really insist that an organization tries to apply the lessons learned on the fly to rebuild the infrastructure with defense in depth, to improve the segmentation of the network, to improve the backup architecture of the network, to bury the crown jewels of the network behind multiple layers of defense through software defense and network level defense. And it's imperative that organizations do that to move towards best practice, because we frequently see that organizations do not have best practice in the way their networks have been built and evolved, and it possibly doesn't get reviewed frequently enough. We're proud to say that of all the organizations we have recovered, and that is well over 200 now, that none of them have gone on to have another attack, having implemented the Syscomm know-how into how to build the defensive network architecture that's got defense in depth at every layer of the network. And it's a combination of technologies that are used to achieve that, through switching, through firewall, through network access control, but can all be built into networks to make sure that organizations are not a house of cards.